Today we're talking about brain reprogramming, an introduction to sacred geometry and its use for changing your epigenome. Wow, quite heavy, eh? The reason we're actually talking to Dr. Ken West from Brainskey is because your mindset is the main thing that you need in business. It truly is, and in life. And some of the work that Dr. Ken West does is quite amazing. Most of our team now, actually all three of us, Richard, Ryan, myself, we've been through this basically reprogramming, resetting of our conscious mind so that our subconscious mind is just as powerful. And I have to say, this works miracles. It really does. Anyway, have a listen. This interview is done by a lady, not someone we know, but it's something done a few years ago. We are planning on getting something a bit more up to date. Anyway, watch it, listen, be impressed, and if at any point you're interested in learning more about Dr. Ken, we're looking to set up a live event very soon, so just let us know. Anyway, have a listen and enjoy. Cheers.
Hello, everyone. My name is Emily Potter, and I am the director of the Million Kisses Foundation. I'm also your host for the Living the Dream Video Summit and a musician living fully in a gift economy model. I've put together this presentation for anyone who is really interested in eliminating barriers and getting all that denseness out so that you and I can actually live the dream. It's what we came here to do, and I have brought together some amazing professionals who really know what they're talking about to actually eliminate those barriers so that you and I can actually do what we came here to do. So today I have the absolute pleasure of taking us to Switzerland, where we get to introduce Dr. Ken West. Welcome, Ken.
Thank you, Emily.
I am absolutely so pleased that he gets to be part of this. And Ken is something that's really difficult to describe, but it actually is so profound. I'm so thrilled that you are here to talk about it. He is the recognized leader and creator of performance science, and he created a new technique that permanently deletes the negative programs that cause us to attract pain, disease, depression, and other self-destructive patterns. So I know that people's ears perked up, especially because you're getting to the root, Ken. You're getting to the absolute root of permanently eliminating these patterns that we all have. I'd like you to just start by just talking about the passion and the story that brought you to create this new technique.
Well, I'm being a performance scientist. I've worked at international level in 48 sports in 30 countries. I have Olympic gold medalists, world champions in many, many sports that I've worked with. And my real addiction has been human performance. But human performance isn't necessarily winning the Olympics. It could be feeding yourself, clothing yourself, being creative, writing songs and making music like you do, and those are all, that's all performance. But in all these years, I was trying to figure out, well, what holds us back? And what holds us all back is ourselves. And so in trying to, when I helped develop the graduate program at Oxford in performance science, we looked at, well, what are the predictors? Because they tried to tell us that performance is an art. You can't predict it, and there aren't formulas and that sort of thing. And we actually showed that there were. But the thing was finding out, well, why is it people hold themselves back? Because they don't really want to hold themselves back. And the thing, I guess the question that I couldn't ask after working international sports for 30 years was why, if we have two sportsmen or women from the same culture, same diet, same coaching, same development programs, same offenses, same defenses, same desire, same everything. And we would take them to world championships, or we would take them to the Olympics, and one would be a superstar and one would do nothing. How can that be? Their preparation, everything appeared exactly the same. And so in trying to figure that out, it was trying to figure out, okay, well, how does this really work? And so now what I understand is that of the experience that you're having right now, 95% of it is generated by your midbrain. Your midbrain is illogical. It doesn't understand time. It's based on emotion. And of the experience you're having, your logical brain only is responsible for 4%. So all of the self-help and all of the work that you do with this, with the psychologists or whatever you're doing, you're trying to get 4% to override the 95% who has a trump card on the 94%. Now, just to finish the picture, there is 1% left. And the 1% left is your brain stem and your matrix, your cellular tissue, how it communicates with itself. And that's, the brain stem is responsible for your eyes blinking, breathing, your heart beating, those things that you don't control. All right, so I kind of ignored that for 10 years. And then now that I've worked with it, it's really profound because that's where people really hide the deepest programs.
Wow.
And because, one of the puzzles that I had was working with people that had, major disease processes. And there would be 60% would have this amazing shift and the disease process would be gone. And then 20% would whatever issue they had would stay the same. It wouldn't get any worse, but it would just like it stopped it in its progression. And then the other 20% would continue to get worse. And it's like we didn't do anything. I did the same thing, same process over and over, but where was the difference? And now that I know that 40% is actually what's in your brainstem. And now when you can clear all the negative programming out of your brainstem and your midbrain, and you get those to align and cooperate with your neocortex, your logical brain, then guess what? You're not fighting yourself. So all of these negative emotions and the programs that generate them, people talk about clearing negative emotions, but one of the things I found working with elite sportsmen was that if we used, I was very grateful. I learned a process called NET, which is neuroemotional technique, and it's clearing emotions out of the subconscious. And in working with elite performers, I'd find that after working with them for a while, maybe we had cleared 100 different issues, emotional issues out of their past. Well, then why was it that they would test today, they're all clear, there's nothing more, there's nothing hidden, there's nothing more we can find, and they come in tomorrow and bingo, they have a new one. So I found that we all have a program that says, I always have to have an issue.
Amazing. Amazing.
So if you are issue generating beings, guess what's going to happen? You're always going to have something to work on, which helps us grow and evolve and develop. But at some point, you come to a point of enough.
I have a question.
Good.
Ken, no one wants those. Where did these come from? Where did these destructive patterns come from? Is it the collective consciousness of the patterns? Where do they come from? Where do we pick them up?
Well, we pick them up. It's in our DNA, and we come in with these programs. And the reason that we have these programs is to help us evolve.
Okay.
You never learn anything by doing things correctly. You learn by making mistakes, and then next time making a better mistake or a different mistake, not making the same mistake over and over. But as long as we keep making mistakes, we keep growing and evolving. And I think that was really necessary for us, say in the energy of the last 2,000 years. But I think now with the new energy coming in is more about grace, ease, simplicity, truth, transparency. And I think that's why we've been shown how to clear them out, is because they're no longer useful for us. Okay. And especially for all the rest of us that have gone, make it stop. Right.
I want everyone to know that before I went on my trip, it's something that a lot of people who follow me know, that I quit my day job on April 17th, 2015. And pretty much that next day, Ken, you came to my house and did this technique for me. Sent me out into my world, onto this journey, one of the most significant of my life. So I want everyone to know that, because I had significant changes happen. This actually did work for me, this technique that you're talking about. And I want to actually have you clarify one thing, because we haven't actually talked since then, and a lot of really wild challenges happened to me. So what you're not saying that that when you have this clear, you're permanently now eliminating all situations and challenges and problems that a person has. It's basically, tell us a little bit more about the permanency. Something happened to me that day. I changed. It didn't take away all of my problems, but something definitely changed. Tell us more about the permanency of what you're doing with this technique.
Well, that was one of the things that, we knew that you were going on an adventure, and, an international adventure. And one of the programs that I found that everyone has is a program of self-destruction, that we have to attract people and things to help us self-destruct. And, a young woman, well, she's not totally without weapons. She does have her guitar, but for you, I just wanted you to be able to be safe, and for you to not attract any negative learning. And there are two paths. The one path is the path of difficulty, struggle, suffering, and learning. And that is our default setting, that we come into this life, that we're born with that in our DNA. And that's what we were talking about earlier, is that we're born with this DNA, and it has these plugins, and it has these programs we're running that we have to experience grief and pain and all these things that create a rich life. Okay, so and the other path is the path of grace and ease, light, grace, and ease, which is who Emily is, right? So let's just change her default button from struggle and suffering to grace and ease. And so that was it. But you're asking about the permanence. Was all the therapies that I've worked with that are out there, even the, EPT, EFT, NET, NEAT, NLP, all of those that work on the subconscious, they only create a shift or a lock of 95%. And that's the same thing with whether it's massage or energy work, that, you feel wonderful, everything is great. And then in a day or two, it starts creeping back in. So I was looking for the 100% lock, because I'm really tired of codependent therapy. I don't mind working. That's probably my addiction, is working too much. But if we're gonna work on something tomorrow, let's work on something new. Let's not do the same thing over and over. And that was one of my frustrations working with elite performers, was we'd solve all their problems in their golf swing or whatever. We get everything working perfectly, and I wouldn't see them for 2 or 3 months, and I'd come back to see them, and it's like they forgot everything they learned. It's like, but, well, you wrote it down, you recorded it. Why can't you find it again? Oh, I forgot. So so I wanted to get this, lock it in where you can't mess it up. And in the process, what happened was we would, working with the signals. Well, the area that I work in is epigenetics. And epigenetics, what Bruce Lipton's work, biology belief, that they found that there is a signal that comes from your brains somewhere that tells your DNA how to express. Now, of the experience that you're having, that 95%, that signal is coming out, and it's telling your DNA what to do and how to create this reality around you. Who to attract to you, who to push away, whether it's wealth, money, whether it's relationships, whether it's creativity. You're sending this signal out into the universe, and the universe aligns and lines up and delivers. Okay, so here it comes. So I wanted to see if we can get it to where we can lock it in, so that if we lock it into Emily, I'm not going to go with her and hold her hand on her Million Kisses tour, because they'll think, who's that creepy old guy that's always hanging around? but we want to, most of the therapies that are out there are forcing therapies. So you take a medication, it forces your body to do something. If you have massage, well, they're working and forcing the toxins out of your body. All of the therapies are trying to force you to be, even some of the things like skio machines and scanar and all of those, they're trying to force your body to be in harmony. Well, I've totally gone away from that, and I want to have empowerment. An empowerment process, an empowerment therapy, because really all I want to do is align Emily, let's align her with who she truly is and the source, and let's get out of the way. and not tell her who that needs to be, what that needs to be. Let's just tell her, go, and let's see what happens. And which is what has happened, which lots of great things happen. And now we can have a conversation about, okay, what do you see that you'd like to improve? And then we can work on that. But in finding how to get it permanent, I had to come up with a way to get the storage. Because everybody else, the best they get is 95%. So I thought, how do we get the last 5%? And I knew I was working on the subconscious, and when I solved puzzles, I looked for 12. So I looked in and I said, well, where's the 12 that's around the midbrain? Where is it? And then the light bulb came on. Like the first thing that we learned in professional school, in optometry school, was the 12 cranial nerves. They carry all of our sensory information from outside in, through the nerves, go into our brains and back out. So that system is working, and there's a 12. So I started thinking, what can we do? Well, 6 of them are primarily vision. So I thought, let's stimulate the visual system with that. And the other was, well, how are we going to get the others? And then I thought, well, the others are smell, taste, hearing, head position, feel, balance, touch. And I thought, Emoto, Masaru Emoto, who showed us that water is the most programmable material in the universe. So I thought, well, let's take the signal that we're putting through the eyes and let's tap it into water. I've done enough with homeopathy that know that if you succuss, if you hit water, it transfers the geometry. So then I tested, okay, if you look at the signal of the geometry and you take a drink, in that instant that you swallow, the brain resets and it takes on the new geometry.
This is exactly, I wanted people to hear what a session actually looks like. So you're bringing in these things, you're bringing in water. The session is bringing in all of these things, and it looks like it's just regular things. You're having images that the people are seeing, you have water. Keep going. I just wanted people to be able to walk through what a session actually looks like with you.
Well, I think what I'm starting to understand now is the most important things in the session is to get to the issue, get to your real issue and draw that into your consciousness. And then while you're holding that in your consciousness is for you, all you do is you look at a screen that has dynamic sacred geometry. So it's just moving around, it's making a signal. So you see it. And then the other is that if we're going to hit the other 12 cranial nerves, we just take and we tap and we put the energy in water. So you're sitting there and you're looking and drinking. Can't get much simpler than that. You've had lots of practice in your life. You know how to look and drink, maybe not at the same time. But once we found that created the 100% lock, and it tests that it lasts forever. Now, there are a few exceptions. If you're using anti-anxiety meds, or if you're using chemotherapy, heavy painkillers, if you're doing crack or street drugs or meth, then you're going to corrupt it. But it will take you a while to corrupt it back to where you were. And some people will go, yeah, I don't believe you. And then they'll come back and go, okay, yeah, the negative thoughts came back. All right, yes, I smoked a joint. Fine, you learned. Now you know. Okay, so now let's clear it again. And if you do it again, it's because you knew. It's not my problem. It's not my fault. So, it's part of it is about educating people. This is how things work. That's really all that has to happen. But over the years, I've gone through finding out, how do we get to the bottom of what's your real issue? And biology belief talked about that your belief system overrides your perception overrides the action, interaction, reaction, and experience of your cells. So they have something called Psych K that they try to work on the belief systems. But I started seeing, well, we have new perceptions every second. But we have belief systems that we have many of them. How do we work on those? So I found that there was a level higher that we could work on, which was the virtues or ideals. And there's 12. And if you look them up on the internet, you'll find that there's 7. And I always found that if there's 7 told about, there's 5 missing. So I went about finding what are the 12 virtues. And they always appear in the same sequence. All 10 years of working with them, and they line up with the months, so you know exactly kind of what's going on in the world. And so now I'm finding that everyone has, for the most part, most people have one of those virtues that's corrupted. So like today, one of the guys that I saw it was really interesting, the father and the son. The father was programmed to empower others, but he couldn't let them empower himself. And the son was the mirror of that. The son, everyone had to empower him, but he didn't empower others. And so when you correct that deepest program that's corrupted in you, then it starts, that's at the spirit level, then that resets the emotions, resets the mind, and resets the physical body. So it takes care of all those.
You know what's amazing? This is not something that we're even talking about right now, but the feeling that I'm feeling just to listen to this is there's so much compassion that we get to have for ourselves, Ken, that we're not damaged goods, that we just can't get ourselves together to go live our dream. It feels like there's what you're saying is we get to just create a new pattern. It feels like we could be in that neutral mind. And so we don't have to actually beat ourselves up. In fact, if we are beating ourselves up, it's a pattern that we're expressing. So we can very much reset, refresh, and there's a lot of compassion that we can have for ourselves. Would you agree that's one of the things that's happening? I mean, maybe at least that's my interpretation of what you're saying.
No, you're exactly right. The only way that you cannot see your brilliance, your perfection, your purity, like I said, your complete, perfect, your wholeness, is if you buy into the lie that you're not.
So all of these questions that the presenter, that there are people, when they signed up, they wanted to know specific questions. And how do I eliminate barriers around time? How do I eliminate my fears, my barriers and denseness, stuckness around money, health? How do I take myself to the next ultimate level of health? What you're saying is all of that is possible. Everything is possible. This reprogramming, all of that is possible. Even if you've had a pattern your whole life, and so it was given to you by your mother's mother, generationally, all of this is actually very shifting and changeable.
Yes, it's all changeable back to your pure, perfect self.
Beautiful.
And there's simple ways to do it, and there's so basically you have two choices. You can do the path of learning, okay, so that you do one at a time, and you recognize, oh, I have an issue with money, let's work on that. Oh, I have an issue with relationships, let's work on that. And if you can get down and really examine and see, well, what is the issue? What can I do? What can I not do? Where's the block? Because everything in life either controls you or you control it. So look at what thoughts are controlling you, because that's what creates the blockages. So if you can get to the bottom of the issue, then it can be released or changed. And if you want, okay, we talked about your free gift. Well, here's a free gift. Is that Emily always talks about free gifts, but here's something that everyone can do. Everyone, when you find that issue that you have that's holding you back, like it's time. All right. So then if you'll just get a glass of water, and all you have to do is hold it. And if you will just say, I've mastered having too much time, I've mastered having not enough time, I've mastered having the optimum amount of time, all is one, and then take a drink. And in that instant that you swallow, your brain will shift. And it will stop that old programming of, I don't have enough time, or I have to be overwhelmed, or all of those. And so you can actually, by drinking, clear them one at a time.
Okay, you just blew my mind, because do you know that people have to drink water all day long, and they can do that every time? They drink the water and reprogram every time they drink water. That blew my mind. I can see that the sun sets where you are. So you're now this floating, beautiful head, Ken. Tell us.
Do you mean turn on a light? I can do that.
If it's convenient for you. If not, we're enjoying your head.
But I mean, it's fun. Okay, give me 1 sec.
We like it even more. Well, while you do that, I'll ask my next question. So, perfect. I would love to have people know how they can connect with you. You are traveling around the whole wide world. I want people to know you are booked solid, Ken. Like, I know that, and for good reason. You are helping people at a very beautiful level to really permanently have shifts. So I want people to know in this audience how they can connect with you. What can you tell us?
Well, first, if you want to connect to me, and if you want to try an image that is one of my geometries, because if you just go to my website, which is called brainskey.com, brains, because you have more than one brain, brains, BRAINSKEY.com. If you go to brainskey.com, you can go in and there's a free sample. And you can go do the free samples for stress. It does a lot more than that, but all you have to do is go, get your water, look at it. You can tap your glass on the side of the computer to get the energy from the computer and then drink, okay? And that will clear lots of things that you don't even know about. So there's another freebie, okay? And while you're in there, if you have questions, or if you want to see more about personal sessions or putting together where I come to your area and work on lots of people at the same time, or whatever you think of. If you have an idea, we can talk about it. You can send me an email through the website.
Yeah.
Okay. And yeah, if you have one of the things that I like is when people use the word impossible, because that just tells me we just haven't figured it out yet. So let's figure it out. And the number of things that are supposedly impossible that we figured out how to shift or change has been amazing. Just having the attitude of that really there's nothing that is impossible.
And then I love it. We're so on the same team. We're so on the same team. Tell us, you also have a radio show and also a really fantastic website that you were telling me about earlier. Any way you want to share it about that as well?
Sure. Okay. So anyone that has, health issues or anything, there's a radio program, a radio platform called UK Health Radio. So it's UK, HEALTHRADIO.com. UKHealthRadio.com. You go there and there's free download music and talk presenters. They have 34 presenters on all different areas of health that you can go listen to, and they have archives, and then that you can go pull up radio shows you want to hear about that topic, or you can go look and download. They have free, it's called Triangle Health Magazine, and you can go download it. It's all in English, but you can download it and look up articles and find what articles about any health condition that you want. But one of the things that I've, as long as I've been working with people, is people are always asking me, well, what can I do for this, for headaches or something? And I'm sorry, my head can't hold all of that, all the information. I mean, if you want to be the expert in essential oils, then fine. Maybe I can keep track of those, and maybe that, and add some homeopathy. Okay, maybe those two. But then you add herbalism on top of it, and then supplementation on top of that, and then manual therapies on top of that, and that's where we haven't even hit the energy medicine stuff. So what it is, it's a one-page level playing field that is respectful to all approaches to helping people to heal, to give you choices, and you can read through and feel what resonates with you. And so you have the topic like headaches, and then you have the symptoms, and underneath that there are two rows of columns. So there's 3 columns on the first row. One has to do with energy medicine. So if you want to use stones and crystals, or you want to use sound or geometries, those answers will be there. If you go to the next column, it's essential oils. The next column is with homeopathy, and it'll give you all the choices for any of those. And then the 4th column, it has to do with herbs, and it's Chinese and Western herbs all mixed together, because herbs are herbs. And then the next one has to do with what diet you should avoid, what diet you should keep, plus supplements and medications. And then the final one, the 6th one, is medical therapies, or manual therapies. Like for headaches, you can put your hands in cold water. And so when you start to read all these options, if you have any attunement with yourself, you go, that's what I want to do. That's what I want to try. And as long as we have options, we can find what works for us, because nothing really works for everyone. Why is that? because of the programming of the subconscious, it causes us to block therapies. I mean, there are even people that they're programming, usually people who mom and dad both tell them, nobody will love you, you're worthless, you're no good, you'll never amount to anything. And a child that's hearing that negative input 24 hours a day cannot survive. So they have to reverse it and go, they really don't mean that. They reverse it and turn it into positive. Well, okay, that's fine. It helps them to survive. But then when they work with therapists or somebody who's working with them who gives them a positive, they flip it to a negative. So when you're working with them, they get worse. So we did everything right. Why are you worse? It doesn't make sense. And so that's why I had to build the geometries where even if you reverse it, you still get it. So I had to look at the 6 different ways people resist improving, because we resist what's best for us. So it's how do we override that stuff, that's all that programming in us that makes life difficult.
So then you're saying that that site is an absolute treasure trove, because you're saying that not everything works for everyone because of our patterns and the belief systems that we've brought in. So this and this and this could work for one person, and then the other 3 works for someone else. So this is an absolute treasure trove that you're giving.
Right.
Site. That's wonderful. And in addition to that, Ken, you're actually also giving this audience a free gift. So you've given already 10, So tell us, that's who you are, Miss very generous and very much living in your bliss. I can see that and feel that from you. Tell us about the free gift that you're giving this audience.
Well, it's that if you go to my website, that is one of the free gifts. You go to my website and you can sign up for the, there's the free demonstration that you can do with the stress release one. That's always there. And then if anyone is interested in wanting to do more, just send me a message there saying that you want a free month, and I'll give you access to the site for a month so you can go look around and take your time, and you can actually look at all of the different, because all of the different issues that you have, there's always a light side and a shadow side, and they're actually a paradox. They're the same, 2 sides of the same coin. And whether you get there because you are looking at poverty from one side, or you're looking at abundance on the other side, you have to resolve both of them. If you push one away, the other one, they have to work in tandem. And if one controls you, if you're seeking prosperity, then you're pushing it away. If you're trying to hold on to prosperity because of lack, then it slips away. So we had to find a way where you can, if you resolve both of them, then it's a non-issue, and then the abundance can flow into your life.
Well, I want to thank you. I'm so grateful that I created a reason that we had to talk today, Ken, because I love connecting with you. You have so much youth in you, and it's radiating from you. And I sense and feel your sincerity in wanting to help humanity. And it blesses me that you are living your dream and that you are busy in this beautiful work. So I want to sincerely from my heart thank you.
Well, I appreciate that. But it's also everything that I have found in trying to solve other people's puzzles. Everything I found is within me. So it's learning to look deep inside yourself, and others are reflecting you back to you, and that helps you to go deeper yourself. So anything you don't like out there, it has nothing to do with you. So it's like if anyone is talking to you and they're complaining about you, it's none of your business. It's them irritated with your reflection of themselves back to them. And all you can do is help them see the mirror and figure out, okay, that's my issue. I need to at least drink for it, or I need to work on it. Because if you don't have an issue on it, no matter what you do, you can't irritate me. If you can irritate me, it's a lesson I haven't learned yet. So everything is a gift. Everything is a lesson. And pain is our best teacher. So sometimes the tough stuff is the biggest gift.
I love it. It's such profound words to end our interview with, and I really encourage people to reach out to you. You are fantastic at what you do. You have a lot of wisdom and a lot of tools and techniques that can really assist people in this joy of living, so we can actually truly live this dream. So I appreciate your time today. Thank you.
No, it's a great pleasure. Your topic is living the dream, and the only thing that keeps you from living the dream is you, and it's your programming, and it's your subconscious, that 95%. So know that that's where it's coming from. You can work on it. You can get it to shift. You can create the control to do it. And if you stay focused on who you are and going deeper and deeper and removing any limitations, then you don't even have to focus on the dream. The dream happens.
Well, actually, that's something I want to close with as I say goodbye to you and also to the audience. Is I did eliminate the fears around money, and I want to talk to. So thank you, Ken. I'm going to just close with the audience knowing I took a stand when I quit my job that I'm going to not let money be a barrier, and to walk the walk of trust and truly knowing that I'm always taken care of. And so I share that with the audience today, that with that new programming, I have learned to receive. So I know that as I live in a gift economy, that the more I give, the more I receive. So I continue to give my gifts through this free summit, through my free music that I give, the free gifts that I give. So if you, as the audience, knows that you get to give to me in return, I very much receive it. Connect with me below with the link, and also connect. I'll give the links for Dr. Ken West. And thank you for joining us today. Have a wonderful, wonderful day, and have a wonderful time in Switzerland today. I'm sure it's beautiful.
It's great, but always great to see you. I look forward to seeing you when I'm back in Salt Lake. Fantastic. If you're there.
Yeah, you never know. We'll be in touch around the world, I'm sure.
Great.
Thanks.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.